Hello, how are we all today? Now, I'm just in between clients this morning, but I wanted to share my thoughts with you all because I know the topic of sunscreen can be quite a controversial topic sometimes, but we all know in the skin industry how important it is. But I wanted to share my unique thoughts with you all, and I suppose I'll share my personal thoughts and my professional recommendations, and I wanted to talk to you all about what we use here at Soul Awaken and just kind of share everything I have to share on the topic, and hopefully help you, and so you can learn something you didn't know before. So, sunscreen, why is it important? Well, we have learnt at school, you know, the whole slip, slop and slap. And I think they added another element, which was, I can't remember, but essentially it's like sun avoidance. But it's so important, not just for protection of skin cancers, but it's actually to prevent the UV damage that's going on that you kind of can't see. So this UV damage, it essentially creates DNA damage, and your skin cells begin to function not so well, so they're kind of a little bit impaired. Now, every time you go into the sun, you might not get burnt. So maybe you go out for half an hour just for a bit of a nice light walk and you don't get burnt, but that still doesn't mean that nothing is happening, right? So we've got different UV, so we've got UVA and UVB, and the UVB is what actually burns you, so UVB for burn, and UVA, and that's what actually creates cellular damage, so that's UVA for aging. And these change all the time, and I can't remember the word for it now, I always say it, the amount of UV that's coming down. Anyways, that changes all the time. I can't believe I forgot that right now. If someone is watching, let me know. Having a mind blank. So that actually changes all the time. So just because it is a cloudy day outside or there's not much sun, it doesn't mean you're not getting this damage to your skin. So the reason why it's really, really important is basically because you don't want to damage your cells anymore then they're going to get damaged on day-to-day life, because you know everything that we do, even as we age, our DNA gets damaged. So we really want to prevent as much as possible, but then again it really depends on your goals and what you're wanting to achieve with your skin, or what you really care about at the end of the day. So I'll use myself as an example. So I am a skin therapist and I really would love to maintain my skin for the long term. I want to have the youngest skin possible and yeah, I want to preserve it in any means possible. So that means for me, you know, I want to age slowly and gracefully. So I'm absolutely, every single time I go out into the sun, whether I'm driving to and from work, whether I'm just going for a little walk, whatever, I am going to put sunscreen on. It's so important because remember, when this DNA damage happens, it's actually leading to aging in your skin. So it's going to age you very quickly, and this is very evident through many, many photos and case studies and research, of course. But next time you're out and about, do have a little look around. Look at the people who have like quite distinctive kind of tans. Their skin becomes a little bit thickened and leathery, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a moment, why. And you can see the lines and wrinkles are more prominent, and that's totally fine. If you know, some people put higher on their list of priorities their tan, and that's okay, but that does come with its own risks. And you know, of course, sun cancers is a big risk, but then we've got aging as well, pigmentation. So not everyone tans evenly, and as you age you might begin to see patches that you didn't have in your younger years. So for me, I'm going to be wearing sunscreen 24/7. Now you don't need to wear it at night time, of course, but just applying it once, you know, in the morning is enough. So essentially It really does depend on your goals though. So I'm personally not treating pigmentation in my skin because this is my skin without makeup. This is it. Keep scratching that. But yeah, this is my skin. So I'm not treating pigmentation, but when you are wanting to really decrease melanin in your skin, pigmentation, so patches here and there, you really want to be strict with sunscreen because any little bit of UV will bring it back up, and the melanin, the melanocytes will send up melanin to the pigment, to the cells up there. So it's kind of one of those things. But if you are just like me and your skin is nice now, you're not treating pigmentation, all you need to do is just apply it once in the morning and pretty much forget about it. If you're just going to work, you're driving to and from work, and you're not spending too much time outside, maybe a half an hour walk, then that's fine. That one application will do you fine. But if you're going to be spending an hour outside in the morning and then an hour outside in the afternoon, and perhaps you work outside, then yeah, you're going to have to reapply. But for most indoor workers, that is enough. Now, the reason why I do stress this is because in the car, through the glass, you're getting damage. You're getting it through the windows. Now, I'm sitting right next to a window here, and so I am very cautious because I actually, just for today, didn't apply my sunscreen, so I'm going to apply it for you, in front of you. But yeah, just through the window, you're getting the UV damage. Now, you're also getting UV damage from your computer screens. Yes, and your phone. This is real. So definitely do your own research on this, but there is a lot more conversation happening. So you are going to age just by looking at your phone. And yeah, that's kind of my reasonings for it. So that means when I do apply sunscreen, I'm actually really cautious of not only my face, because I want that to be young and free of pigmentation when I'm older, but I'm also thinking about my neck, my ears, and the backs of my hand and my décolleté. Now, this is another little social experiment for you. Just go out and about and look at women who are in their 50s and 60s, 70s, whatever, and just compare that décolleté area to their face and look at the backs of their hands. This part of our whole body is where we age the quickest because it's always, you can just see it. It's always out and about, especially our arms just here as well, but we're always driving. So you can kind of see your hands are like this and they're constantly being exposed. So if you want your hands and your décolletage to match your face, then absolutely apply your sunscreen liberally. The other thing to really think about as well is the fact that antioxidants will give you just a tad more sunscreen, so sun protection. So there's so many antioxidants, and most people that take a prescription home with them from here, they will definitely get an antioxidant because antioxidants fight free radicals and they stop oxidative stress. So oxidative stress happens from the sun, but it also happens when you eat sugar, when you smoke, when you're exposed to pollution. So just by having that antioxidant, you're not only getting a little bit more sun protection, but you're also aiding your skin in fighting these free radicals. Now, we could definitely go into this in another topic, but let me know if you want to hear about free radicals and I will do a video on it. But the best way to explain free radicals to you is when you have an apple and you bite into it and it oxidates. That's oxidative stress. It's basically because the molecules are in balance, so free radicals take from the environment to kind of balance themselves out, and they actually just take from your skin. Hello, Stephanie. So yeah, if you want to kind of up your SPF protection, add in some antioxidants. Now, the next topic I wanted to talk about was, do we go chemical sunscreen or do we go physical sunscreen, or better known as chemical or physical? That's how most people know it. So did you even know that there was two different types? Now, this all depends, it's to do with the ingredients. So a physical sunscreen, it has always been known not known, but it's more of a hearsay. Everybody kind of believes it this way, that a physical is like, kind of comes in. So you've got the physical ingredient, which is zinc oxide or titanium. It's on your skin, and the sun rays come in and they kind of bounce back, kind of like a mirror, I suppose, and it bounces back into the atmosphere and no damage is caused. Whereas a chemical is known to kind of the chemical ingredients that you put into the sunscreen formulation, and now there's a ton of sunscreen actives. Tinosorb S is one of my favorites, very popular in the in Europe. And basically it's known to kind of absorb the light rays and disperse them. Now, this is why people would naturally go to physical, because it seems more natural. It's either zinc or titanium, and there was kind of like a debate on whether the chemical sunscreen was actually causing more heat and almost irritation in the skin. However, I've only just been informed that a physical sunscreen isn't as physical as we thought. You know, I think they said 90%. Now, I definitely have to check my sources for this one, but only about 10%. So 90% is still chemical based. So it still gets absorbed into the skin and dispersed. So it's only like 10% that actually gets reflected out into the atmosphere. So when you kind of look at it like that, they both have the same mechanism for absorbing those UV rays. So when I look at that, I'm like, well, yes or no. So there's still some more answers to my argument here as well. So after hearing that, I thought, well, hang on, maybe I'm kind of preferring a chemical now because their mechanisms are the same. Now, the other argument for a natural zinc or titanium dioxide is that zinc oxide, so you remember zinc oxide because it's that really thick thick kind of white sunscreen that you see for kids on sports day, or men at the cricket. Zinc oxide is also known to be anti-inflammatory and calming and cooling on the skin. And what else I was about to say? So yeah, that's kind of one of the benefits. But one of the downsides to zinc is it has a very strong white cast, and it has quite a chalky consistency. So I don't know, I've used them in the past where I'm happy with them, but then I've used them as well and it's just like, you look white and pasty. So that's kind of like the benefits and the disadvantages. However, I've just recently been informed as well that zinc oxide, although it is seems to be more calming and natural on the skin, all of those things we're told, we've actually found that in cosmetic formulations it can sometimes break down these good oils and kind of they're not so effective, and this is more to do with the Dermavisuals range. So they use a set of ingredients called DMS, and it tends to kind of break them down and make it not as effective. So that's why Dermavisuals doesn't use the zinc oxide, basically because the zinc in these formulas break down the good components that you want on your skin. So that's kind of the arguments for and against. But then we've got chemical. Now, there are chemical ingredients that I do not agree with. I don't have them written down, but oxybenzone is a really well-known one, and there's a couple of others, but they're the ones that are accumulating on our corals and destroying our corals. You know, you can actually go up in a spaceship and go look down on Earth, and you can actually see this like film of all the chemical sunscreen, like the oxybenzone, that's formed over the coral. So it really is killing our coral. And in Europe, they actually have completely banned the use of these bad chemical sunscreens. I'm not sure if they have in Australia yet. Australia is pretty behind in ingredient technology, though, I will let you know. But yeah, and so is America, quite behind. But in Europe, they're very, very strict on their standards, and there's a lot more laws. So when you think of that, I'm like, okay, I definitely don't want those, and they're not used in the Dermavidual ones. They use Tenosorb S, which is one of my favorites. And I guess the good thing with a chemical sunscreen is you can use lots of different chemical sunscreen components to essentially, I'll show you an example here, to essentially get different types, kind of cover your bases with different types of UV. Now it's not just UVA and UVB, it's a lot more complex, but you can kind of see. So you can see the chemicals. You can, they have a different kind of amount of protection against different UVB, UVA2, UVA1. So I find they're a little bit more comprehensive, and if they work the same way as a zinc oxide or a titanium dioxide, I'm probably more happy to use a chemical base, especially because their formulations are nicer and smoother on the skin. You can actually make, excuse me, have some water, guys. That's better. Yeah, so you can have a much nicer formula. So I'm going to actually put this one onto the skin. Now, for all of you lovely Soul Awakened clients, a few of us have been having conversations about the sunscreen, because I actually I've always just stocked the SPF 30, which I'm about to put onto my skin. And a few of you who like a bit more of a thinner consistency have found that this one's a little bit heavy for you. Now, while I was away, so you just want to warm it up and just press into the skin, just like that. So I'll go back to what I'm saying in just a moment. And it's really important to put it on your lips as well, guys. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment as well. And so I kind of treat this sunscreen, because it's beautifully moisturizing. It's got all the good moisturizing agents. I treat it like a moisturizer as well. So today I'm just wearing the Dermavidual Self Tanner. So beautiful, that's on, nice dewy look. But some of the clients here don't like that thicker feeling. Now, it's not too thick. You can see my skin's just nicely hydrated, and it will sink in a little bit more. But not everyone loves that. So I decided, look, I'm gonna go for a hunt to find something that, you know, appeases these clients and gives them the desired effect on the skin. And a lot of clients were actually asking for a tinted sunscreen. So I was like, all right, I can definitely have a look for you. And I'll tell you what, I have searched high and low, and I almost ordered in a sunscreen brand. Now, I'm not going to name and shame the brand at all, but it was probably the one in my experience that I've tried on my skin. It felt really nice. It gave a really nice tinted coverage. But my main concern was that I was not able to get the entire ingredient base. Now, this is where Australia and Europe differ. So in Europe, they are required to give you the entire ingredient list, including actives and inactive ingredients. Whereas in Australia, when it comes to sunscreens, they actually only have to display the active ingredients. Yes, only the active ingredients. So that means just the sunscreen components. So essentially, in that formulation that I looked into, yeah, they display that they use a specific antioxidant, and they use an anti-aging ingredient, and they use a zinc oxide, but I was not able to get reference to the rest of the ingredients. Now, why is this concerning? Well, I don't like the lack of transparency, that's for sure. But in this product, there's definitely fragrance in there, and we know very well and true that fragrance does nothing for your skin. It's actually more harmful than anything. And what else is hidden in this product? I mean, there could be emulsifiers in there, which we know cause a washout effect on the skin. Maybe there's some toxic ingredients in there. You know, today I was looking on the cosmetic database, and it was a really well-known product from Coles, and it has nitrosamines. I might be butchering that. But essentially they're cancer causing, and this is a well-known natural gentle product. So there's these bad toxic ingredients out there, and they're just in so many different products out there, and without being given the full ingredient list, I don't feel comfortable giving that to my clients. Now, I was so sad because the price was right, the coverage was really nice. It wasn't too chalky, it was a little bit, but it was pretty good. It was a really nice coverage, but I couldn't get the entire ingredient list. So, damn. So I couldn't find anything for you guys that's tinted and a physical, just for the people that prefer the physical block. My hunt is still on, and I won't give up, but I have been pretty disheartened because I haven't found anything that reaches my standards, essentially. So maybe I'll have to look a little bit more deeper into the European market because in the Australian market, they don't have to show you all the ingredients. Now, next time you go into Woolworths or Coles, look at all the Nivea products, look at all the Neutrogena, SPFs. They only show the actives. Some of them will show you the full ingredient list, which is awesome, but not all will. So you've even got preservatives that could be in there, anything. Preservatives are good, but sometimes, depending on the ones, they can be damaging to your skin as well. Whew, so that was a mouthful, but that's essentially my thoughts on the matter. And I thought maybe we could go for the lesser evil, because if clients just really aren't liking this one for its texture, then maybe we could go the lesser evil and go for something else. But I really don't feel comfortable recommending something that I just don't know all the ingredients. It's yeah, really quite scary. So in order to help these clients, I went on a little went and spoke to head office about the sunscreens we offer here. So we have a 30 and a 15, and I just out of habit, I only ordered the 30 SPF, and that's the only one I tried because I like the texture. I don't mind it. I find sometimes it's a little bit heavy, but that was more in summer. However, I ended up trying the 15 SPF, and let me tell you, I'm really impressed with the formulation. And you're probably thinking, oh, SPF 15 isn't enough. Well, did you know that sunscreens, so it's actually not 15, so 30 isn't double of 15. It's actually only a few percentage difference in terms of coverage. So a 15 SPF only has a 90, well, it has a lot. It has a 93.3% coverage, whereas a 30% has a 96.6% coverage. So when you kind of look at it like that, it's like, well, there's not much of a difference in terms of sun coverage. And then the 50, it only goes up about 1 or 2 points. But the difference between a 15, a 30, and a 50 is the amount of chemicals they need to use. Now, chemicals aren't always bad, guys, and we can do another video on that if you like, where I talk more into detail. But essentially, on the 50 SPF, they have to use more ingredients to kind of stabilize those, not so much stabilize, but kind of make a nice viscosity of the formulation. So with all that being said, I think the 15 SPF is probably the way to go if you're kind of doing that whole day-to-day thing where you're working in the office and you know, you're only in the car for maybe 20 minutes up, 20 minutes back, or 30 minutes, and that's the kind of coverage you're looking for. I hope that's making sense. So what do you do for sun coverage when you're actually spending time outdoors? Now, I'm not going to go tell you to get this is a face product and it can be used on the body. I'm not going to tell you, get this, apply it over your whole body. This would be done in a day. So it's totally okay to find a conventional sunscreen for those days you're out in the sun spending, you know, sport or the beach or whatever. It's okay to apply those, but just be cautious about what you're buying. You can make better, more informed decisions. And if you ever want me to look at the ingredient list of something, send it my way. I'm happy to review it for you. But it's fine. It's not going to be a bad thing. I know they're kind of thick and heavy, and it's fine if you want to put them on your face. But if you are treating your skin for a specific skin condition, maybe you have a bit of acne, maybe you've got an impaired barrier, then I wouldn't suggest those conventional sunscreens. But just remember, the number one thing is actually just having protection in the first place. So you're much safer and much better off actually having coverage than not having coverage at all. Whew, I think that's all I had to share. I did want to share the argument on whether building up your sun protection really slightly was a responsible thing or not. I personally, personally, I'm a little bit cautious of that. So I always have my sunscreen on, and essentially I'm sure you are going to get a little bit of a suntan. You're going to get a little bit of a suntan just with sunscreen on as well. So you're still getting that melanin production, but not so much. You're pretty much protected. So some people just don't wear it at all and they kind of build up their sun exposure, but any sun exposure is still causing DNA damage. It's still potentially causing skin cancers in the future. So I'm more of the personal opinion to actually wear it all the time and protect yourself, but totally fine if others do that. And the other thing that it would be good to bring up is the argument on vitamin D. We all know we get vitamin D from the sun. Our skin, not just our skin, but our body kind of creates vitamin D for our body through the sun. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, if I'm wearing sunscreen every day, am I getting my dosage of vitamin D? And this is a yes or a no, and I'll tell you why. So if you're wearing sunscreen, you're still going to get your vitamin D intake. However, you might not be, just based on your personal situation. So depending on nutrition, some people find it really hard to take in vitamin D for whatever reason. Maybe they're not having the right antioxidants in their diet, whatever, but some people do just naturally don't take in as much vitamin D. But you will get vitamin D even while you're wearing sunscreen, even on your hands. So think about even just this little part in here, you're exposed. That is going to get the vitamin D in through to your body. You've got parts in your legs and your arms, the back of your neck. You will get enough. And there is definitely some statistics on the Cancer Council. There's a whole heap of them on some of the Australian medical websites out there, or organisations I should say, where they've got some statistics on this, so you can go search those yourself. But you only need about 10 minutes of midday exposure to actually get your vitamin D. Now, if you really don't spend any time out in the sun, then maybe it is really wise of you to supplement. I do, because I'm one of those people who just doesn't uptake enough vitamin D, and I do sometimes fall short. But that is just the stats, that's the facts for you, I should say. So with all this being said, my professional recommendation is to wear sunscreen at all times. Cover your hands, cover your chest, your neck, your face, your ears, and the back of your neck, especially if you're working outside. Practice sun avoidance. So when you're outside, wear a hat, try to get coverage in the shade. Do not sunbake, please do not. That was when we weren't so aware and understanding the effects. Now we're aware and we have, banned things like sunbeds. So just don't do it. It's not good for you and you are putting yourself at risk. And that's really it. And use antioxidants as well, and do just be thoughtful when it comes to purchasing a sunscreen. So that is my thoughts on the matter. My professional and personal opinion are pretty similar. So I hope you've enjoyed this one today, and if you are watching and you're going, is my sunscreen good enough, and you're not sure of what ingredients to look for and what to avoid, just message me or pop the brand below and say, Kat, can you please run an analysis on this product? And I'll actually look the product up, look at the ingredients, run it through my paid membership, and they'll actually spit all the studies and all the information they know on all these ingredients, and I can just let you know this ingredient is safe, this one's not. So happy to do that for you guys. I have enjoyed talking to you about this, and for all of the lovely clients that I've spoken to about my endless hunt for a good sunscreen with tint, and it's a physical block. I'm sorry I haven't been able to bring one to you yet. If I find one, I'll let you know, but that's just the update. I just can't give you something that that's not transparent and hasn't shown the whole ingredient list. So on that note, have a really wonderful day, guys, and be well. But yeah, just thought I'd show you really quickly, that's the coverage. It's very hydrated, it's not too sticky. So have a wonderful day. Speak soon. Bye.